Hello, everyone. This is Faisal. I'm a certified high performance coach and I help entrepreneurs and professionals live happy, fulfilled, and successful lives by raising their performance and potential in everything that they do. I have here Adam again training with us, and we're getting to enjoy these trainings more and more because we're gonna make these trainings more interactive with Adam being in his gym and punching bags and kicking things. You're gonna enjoy these trainings that are ahead. But today we're gonna talk about mindset, and the goal is to get you to understand that you are what you think on a consistent basis. You are what you think and say to yourself on a consistent basis. So what do you think about on a consistent basis? And how does that affect you? How does that affect your mindset? How does that affect your relationship? How does that affect your work? How does that affect your goals and dreams? So Adam's going to quickly introduce himself and then we're going to go right into that topic.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, this is Adam Dare, founder of Own Your Fitness. I own a personal training, fitness coaching, success empowerment coaching, and peak performance coaching service in the New York City, Jersey City area. But I train people all over the world. I've been a fitness professional for over 13 to 15 years. I'm also a black belt in World Taekwondo Federation with some other martial arts experience. But this is one of the dearest topics to me. It holds dear to my heart because I have been through one hell of a journey, and a lot of people ask me, how the hell did I get to where I am, where I own my own business and I help people become a better version of themselves and ignite the passion that gets them to become the badass that they're meant to be and whatnot. I always say that my journey began when I found out and I realized that I'm aware of my thoughts and I'm the decision maker of which voice I want to listen to, right? So we all have the right-sided voice, the left-sided voice. I can, I can't. I do, I don't. I am, I'm not, right? So everyone gets the point that there's an internal battle going on in between us. And me, as a former competitive martial artist, has embraced the warrior spirit. When I first did, I was always a little bit of a background about one story that I'll share. I was always a very strong, fit athlete. But there was this one time when I competed in my first fight, and long story short, I lost. And I wanted to quit. I literally walked the next day. I took my uniform, my belt, and I told my sensei, I'm quitting. This isn't for me. And he broke me down, and I kept avoiding answering his questions, and he broke me down, and he finally got me to admit that I'm scared of losing, right? I'm afraid of failing because I didn't want to, the failure was so painful for me to accept, to embrace, that I was willing to walk away from what turned out to be a beautiful journey, right? Because martial arts made me a better person, made me a better personal trainer, made me a better coach, made me a better business person, right? Because that's what I took away from it, from my challenges. And long story short, he said, give me one try. If you do exactly what I say for the next 90 days, and if you still want to quit, and you're still not happy, then I'm going to let you quit. It is your journey. So I said, deal. I signed up an agreement with him. I did a 90-day training program with him again. But the entire training program is different because what I did next was unbelievable. I stopped looking at my success, my fitness, beyond the muscle. Like, this no longer mattered to me. This mattered to me. This mattered to me. And when I hit that bag, I hit it with so much commitment, and there was an internal voice. So let's say you're kicking. Let's say there's a bag here, right? Right here. So just for demonstration purposes, let's say I'm kicking the bag 10 times. Let's say I've kicked it 10 times, right? By the time I get to the 10th time, the 15th time, there's a voice in me that says, Jesus, that hurts, I'm tired. Jesus, my hips hurt, I'm tired. Jesus, I'm out of breath, And there's another voice, the warrior spirit voice that kicks in that says, okay, what would you do if you were the best version of yourself? What would you do if you were a stronger version of yourself? What would you do if you want to continue to be on your path? Do you want to give up due to fatigue and being out of breath, or do you want to surpass that and become a greater version of yourself? And these voices started being awakened within me, and that's when I realized that my training is not physical, it's all mental, it's all spiritual, it's all emotional, because I always want to make sure that any challenge that comes my way in my life, whether it's a fitness challenge or a business challenge or a personal challenge, I ask myself, I'm aware of that voice. What is it exactly that's important to me? The pain and discomfort that I feel now, or where I want to be? And second, am I willing to live with giving into my pain, giving up because of it? Or am I willing to live because I don't want to give into it? I don't want to give up because of it. I want to move beyond it. So that voice, that dialogue, we all have that. That's our mindset. I train business people, housewives, athletes, and the average Joe that wants to come personal training or fitness coaching. And I always tell them, and I always test them, which voice are you going to listen to? Which voice? That determines where you're going to go. Because think about it, salespeople, right? A lot of salespeople come to me for advice, and I tell them, which voice are you going to listen to? The voice that says, someone saying no to you, I don't want to buy your product, rejecting you, and you being, oh no, oh my God, that person doesn't like me, oh, my product sucks. Or you saying, you know what, nothing personal, that person is not the right person for me or for my product. I'm going to go on because I want to meet my target, I want to meet my goal. You follow me? So you've got to really understand, are you aware of your voices, your thoughts? Okay, there's an empowering voice and there's a disempowering voice. The decision's yours. Make sense?
Amazing, yes, as usual, amazing points. And what Adam talked about is so right on point. Is we always have multiple voices in our head telling us to do certain things. If you look at it from a religious perspective, are you going to listen to the devil or the angel? If you're going to look at it from actually that was from a religious perspective, more spiritual perspective, are you going to listen to your ego or your higher self? If you're looking at it from a personal development perspective, are you listening to the negative voices, or are you going to listen to what you can become, the greater version of yourself, your ideal self? And I'm going to actually give you a practice to do after this related to this. Don't let me forget that, because I want to talk about that. But what I want to go into is consistently thinking about our thoughts. What are the thoughts that you think about on a consistent basis? So the thoughts that you have on a consistent basis, they set the intention for your life, for everything that you do. So are you somebody who consistently worries? Are you consistently worrying about whether you're going to pay your bills, or whether your business is going to fail, or this, that, and the other? Are you somebody who sits there and regrets the past, hold on to the burdens from the past? And this is the reason I'm bringing these up, because this is a very normal pattern with most people. I'm not saying this to make you feel bad, but do you have that on your mental dashboard on a consistent basis? Now, if your life is run consistently by worry and regret, then guess what? You are being pulled in directions that don't serve you at all. Your past is done. You can either sit there and try to analyze and do all kinds of stuff to think about it and try to make sense of it one way or another, which sometimes you should. You should analyze what you did in the past to not make the same mistakes in the future. But most of the time, your past doesn't really help you. You don't have to create a life based on your past. You can start fresh. That's the power of the human mind. You can create you can create a bigger vision of who you are, your better version that Adam talked about, that you can work towards. And that doesn't have to depend on the past. You might have pain from the past, but that doesn't have to depend on it. And in the same way, what you worry about in the future, your fears, what you find is that most of what you fear is not really real. They're made up. And they're just thoughts. We're usually scared of fictional characters, basically boogeymen in our head that tells us, well, you're going to fail, your business is going to fail, your relationship is going to fail, that's going to fail. And we all have them. I mean, I can tell you, I've been working on this for over 10 years of research and then 4 years of consistently practicing this stuff, and I still have some of those thoughts. Why? Because we have developed those habits over a long period. Now, like Adam said, what are you going to listen to? What thought are you going to pay attention to? And that's what's the most important point you're going to think about. So if we look at this from a higher perspective, what we find is that your thoughts are not really you. The thoughts that you have is actually an accumulation. They're not really your thoughts. They're an accumulation of your environment, the thoughts that were given to you by your parents, by your teachers, by media, by whatever. They have combined together and formed a personality structure that we call ego. And a lot of times, if you actually listen to your thoughts, what you find is that if you observe them, you can actually hear that person's voice within those thoughts that gave it to you. But that requires a deeper level of observation. But what you can do is start observing your thoughts, like Adam said. Start paying attention to your thoughts. What are you thinking about on a consistent basis? That's the beginning of awareness. That's the beginning of everything you do in terms of your mindset. Once you start paying attention to your thoughts, what happens is that you become aware of what your pattern is. This is what psychologists do. When you go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, what do? They write down everything that you talk about. They listen to the things that you repeat. They listen to your patterns. You can do that on your own. Observe your thoughts. You don't have to judge your thoughts. You don't have to stop it. You don't have to feel bad. Just observe. What happens when you do this enough, you'll find that you do things in patterns. You think about the same things over and over. You pay attention to the same things over and over. As Tony Robbins says, wherever you focus on, that's what you're going to amplify in your life. So if you're focusing on the worry and the regret and the fears, then that's what you're amplifying within your life. So now, how do you improve that? After you observe it, as soon as you observe this, you're already breaking the pattern. You're breaking the pattern of thinking because you're aware of it now. You're separating yourself from it. Now, the next step is to replace it with a different thought. You always have positive thoughts. And the question that Adam asked was, that was a powerful question, because how did you ask it exactly? What would a greater version of me do that?
What would a greater version of me do?
What would a greater version of me do? Or what would my best self do? What would my best version of the best version of myself do?
Right.
I mean,
or just one sec. What would who I want to become or working on becoming do?
Yeah, that works too. So this is very important, because the question now, if you think about this, I like how Tony Robbins teaches about this, because when he's teaching about learning, what he says is that much of learning is the process of answering questions. I mean, if you watch children, they ask so many questions. Why are they consistently asking questions? Because that's how they learn. They ask questions and they get answers to it. We do that automatically in our brain. But what do? We focus on the wrong questions. We wake up and we ask, oh, why do I have to go through this? Why am I being punished? Why do I feel this pain? These are the wrong questions. Why? Because the question directs your focus. So when you say that, why does it have to be me? You're already going into a state of negativity. You're already going into a state where you feel like a victim. And when you feel like a victim, you don't do anything. You sit there and hope for somebody to hug you. Which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but it incapacitates you. But look at the other question. Look at the quality of this other question. What would a better version of me do? What would my greatest version do right now? As soon as you think of a greatest version, you're thinking of a different quality of who you are. Now, I'll give you a practice that you can do that I actually teach on the first day. My clients, I teach them this. I want you to think of three words that define your better self, your best version, your greatest version. So for me, I actually repeat this consistently. My three words are present, authentic, and bold. And all these three words mean something to me. I want to be more present because I want to be in this moment. I want to be experiencing life fully. I don't want to have to be stuck in the past, in the future. I want to experience life in this moment because this is our reality. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, regardless of how many plans we have. We don't, the past that we have, it's done. Regardless of all the pain that we carry, it doesn't really do anything for us. But the present moment is what defines us. The experience that you're going through, whether that be connecting with your children, whether that be connecting with your spouse, whether that be working on something that you enjoy, whether that be going to the gym, whatever it is, that experience and that moment is what defines your life. And that I define that for myself. Authentic. Why do I want to be authentic? I want to truly express who I am, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what environment I am. I want to be comfortable with that because I find that the more I am like that, the more at peace I am with myself. Bold. Yeah. I mean, this word will define every entrepreneur, every person who's actually tried anything. Because if you're not bold, if you're not courageous, you're not going to take risks. You're not going to do things that are hard. Adam talked about his endeavor. I mean, I've had to take a lot of risks. I left my engineering career to start something completely the opposite of that. I left machines to work with people. I started a business that most people don't start. My business model is completely different. Most of what I do is I work online with people. I do my video conferences through video conferencing like this. My clients are in Pakistan, in Sweden, in India, in States, in Canada, all over. But and most of what I do is on social media. And when I talk to my friends and family, a lot of them don't even understand what I'm doing because they've never seen a business model like that. And it's very new even to the business industry because we didn't have the amount of interaction within the internet like social media has nowadays. So I use social media as a leverage for that. And so the point here is that you have to, I define these three characteristics for my best version. Am I authentic every day? Am I bold every day? Am I present every day? Sometimes I'm not. But these three words remind me to be those things. When I started this, I set a reminder on my phone 3 times a day. It would pop up, I would look at it, and I would try to feel what would it feel like to be present, authentic, and bold. And I would repeat that consistently. Now, I don't have the reminder anymore. After a couple of years, I repeat, these words repeat in my head, and they mean something to me. And they drive my intention. I also have an interaction word for my relationships. You can try that. My loving, inspiring, and engaged. Right before I meet people, I say that to myself because that's important to me. So if you want to define your identity, if you want to change your thought pattern, if you want to create a new pattern, think of 3 words that define who you are, who the greatest version of you can be, just like Adam said. And when you sit down and write that down, actually write it down on whether it's on your phone or on a notepad or on your journal, and set a reminder for it because you're going to forget. You're going to remind yourself of this time, but you're going to forget again. You're going to get busy. So you're going to set it, use your smartphone to do smart things. Set it on your phone for 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. And let it, as soon as a reminder comes on your calendar or your alarm, it's going to say, in my example, present, authentic, and bold. And when you see that, you're going to try to sit there and feel those words, not just look at them and say, oh, present, authentic, bold. They have to think about why they're important to you. And think about how you can step into that character. And that's that practice is what's going to make you into the greatest version of yourself. If you actually practice it on a consistent basis.
Oh, for sure. 100%. 100%.
So what are your thoughts on that, Adam?
Here's the thing, right? Like, awareness is the most important key to really understanding where you are, what's going on in your head, and then how to flip the story. So I always use the analogy, let's flip the story on what's in your head, right? Because ultimately, we are what we think and say daily. That's who we are. We are completely that or are this whole thing, this person, we're exactly what we think and we say daily. So like I hear it all the time. Every time someone says something, I remind the person you're projecting something that's within you, right? So for example, like, oh, I could never work out 4 days a week. That's just never been me. Okay, so keep saying that to yourself. That's basically saying that you believe that you're never going to do that. But have you ever taken the shot? Have you ever taken the chance to do it? Oh, well, I could never do a roundhouse kick because I've got a weak back. Okay, maybe not now, but the question is, will you ever be able to do that? Right? So people don't understand. It's a self-repeating mantra. Like I'm an entrepreneur, a personal fitness coach, and a life coach, and an empowerment coach, and I train clients, and I work 7 days a week. So I hear it all the time. Oh, you work.
Adam, you kind of froze. Adam, you're frozen. I don't know if that's mine or yours.
Okay, fine. You're not cocky enough. That's what you're telling me. You're not confident enough of yourself. Okay, well, you speak too much truth. You're too blunt. Okay, that means you have a problem with harsh truth, upfront, direct honesty. You have a problem with that. That's what you're saying about yourself, right? So we have to understand what we say is a deep-rooted projection that's coming out. It's all it is. 95% of the time, we're saying something about ourselves if we're making a judgment or if we're saying something about ourselves, right? Like someone could say, well, I could never look like you. I say, that's because you're saying you don't have belief in yourself being able to walk on the path and being able to look. But have you ever done the research? Have you ever given a shot? Have you ever given it a go? I'm not good at math. Well, yeah, you're not good at math now because you've never given it a try. I'm not good at sales. I'm not good at public speaking. I'm not good at talking to people. That's because you haven't given it a try or worked on that or trained for that. So you're projecting what you are. You understand me? So we're always projecting what's within our thoughts and what we say. So I always say to people, be careful what you say and be careful what you think because you're just telling me more about you. Like recently, I started going on social media more, and like I was telling you, I'm posting more because I'm facing my discomfort. But I enjoy video content and I push it out there. I'm just taking time out of my day, and now I'm used to it and I'm getting better at it, and I love it because I want to share my message with the universe, right? So when successful people say, I've had someone successful say to me, when you get your first hater, that means you've done good things in your life. That means you're on your way to becoming successful because people will always point in the past and history and in the present. People will always point fingers at people that are going somewhere, that are shaking the waves, that are creating the ripples. I mean, look at the Jesuses, look at the Abrahams, look at the Steve Jobs, look at the Bruce Lees, Muhammad Ali's, right? So when I got my first hater that said, dude, you're too harsh in your advice. Sometimes you got to stop wearing that allergic to BS t-shirt, And I said, look, what you're telling me about you is that I've struck a chord that makes you uncomfortable about what's going on within you. You're telling me that. You're telling me that I've struck a chord. You're uncomfortable with that. I would rather hear a person say to me, God bless, all the power to you for becoming and being who you are, and you have the right to believe in what you are and what you say you are, and happy for you, and good luck. That's it. Because if someone is truly comfortable and confident with being who they are, they don't have to show or tell, right? They don't have to challenge opinions. We have an expression in martial arts, right? Like when someone challenges you, right? And the way you handle a challenge is two ways. You get challenged, it strikes a chord in you, and you're like, you're going nuts. Or, like Bruce Lee said, if a challenger challenges you and you're secure within yourself, I don't have to take that battle. I say, all right, I've got no problem. Good luck. I'll just continue to move on to my business, enjoy my time, have my own drink, have my own day with myself. I don't have to take every battle that comes my way. I know who I am. I'm secure within myself. And I think when we realize that all our thoughts and all our actions are a product of what's going on in here, and when we become aware of them, that's when you've taken complete control of your life. Because once you're aware, you can determine where you want to go within your thoughts, and thoughts turn into actions, and actions turn into successes. You follow me?
That's amazing. That's amazing thoughts and great analogies, Adam. And it's funny you talked about the haters. So my mentor says a similar thing, that unless people tell you that you're too idealistic, you're too crazy, you're not going to be able to do this. This is too impractical. Unless people say those kind of things to you, you're not going on the right path. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is an indication of collectively what we're doing. Because most people would rather be sitting in their in their miserable job, in their miserable relationships, and the things that they do that they don't like because they do it because of social pressure, just because others are doing around them. Those are the things that are comfortable for people. Anything outside of that that they see, they will try to judge that. Why? Because they're uncomfortable seeing that. Like Adam said, it projects from within them. And the first, now this is not to make you feel bad, because a lot of people are like that. I've been like that. And sometimes that comes back. Those thoughts come back.
Mm-hmm.
But the point here is that you need to be self-aware. You need to observe your thoughts, because if you're not aware of your thoughts, then you're running the automatic conditioning, the automatic training that you've had from within your environment since childhood that you had no control over to run your life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another researcher, damn, I always forget his name. I love his training, but what he said was that there's a secret that you need to know, that we are good at something that we don't even realize. Since childhood, what we do is that we copy each other. We are copiers of copiers. Not only do we copy each other, but we copy, and it's been going on for such a long time that we don't see that we're doing stupid things. We've copied other people. So he was talking about how businesses and cities are in the U.S. And this, he was talking about this in 1900s or mid 1900s, where if you go and if I take you and drop you somewhere in one of the U.S. cities, blindfolded, and I take out the blindfold after a week, you won't know which city you are in, because the buildings are the same, the businesses are the same, people do things the same way. It's everybody copies each other. So if you want to try to build a business, you don't really necessarily look towards a person that inspires you, a business that inspires you. You just copy what everybody else does. Why? Because you're just used to that. We do that since childhood. Now, same with our thoughts. So why do you believe that you can't do something? Because you've heard it so many times from other people say to themselves and to you that I can't do this. You can't do this. I mean, I've had a client for over a year. He's been with me. Whenever he goes around his friends, it drives me nuts. But whenever he goes around his friends, because he's trying to achieve something big. He's trying to do something great for his country, for his culture. He's trying to be an inspiration. Whenever he goes his friends with their small minds, when he goes around them, when he tells them what he needs to do, what he wants to do, they tell him, you're too idealistic. It's too impractical. You can't do that. And then he comes back all broken sometimes. I'm like, listen, the reason your friends are saying that is because they've heard that so many times over and over. And more so than being down about it, know that you're going on the right path because people are telling you that it's too impractical. Who changed the world? Let's look at it practically. Since we're talking about practicality, who has historically changed the world? Talked about the Jesus, the Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam. They changed the whole world.
The Lincoln, the Gandhis, the Muhammad Ali, the Steve Jobs, the Warren Buffett. I mean, if you look at even present day people, they've changed industry. You know what I mean? The Abraham. I mean, everyone, the Carnegie. Everyone that we know, even in our modern era, has done something different and changed. Why don't we follow people and listen to people who are the giants?
And they didn't do things practically. They came up with something that nobody could do. Like Gandhi sat there and talked about kicking British out, the greatest sovereign power in the whole world, superpower in the whole world. He wanted to kick them out of India. Took them a while, but they got kicked out eventually. If you think of, I mean, Steve Jobs said this: if you're crazy enough to think that you're going to change the world, you're gonna. If you can change the world, you will. But if you're not crazy enough to think that you can make a bigger difference in your life and in the lives of those that you serve, then you're not going to do anything. And it is that challenge that's going to drive you. Now, not to stray too much from this thought pattern, it all goes back to how you think. So if you have consistently thoughts that put you down, if you have thoughts about worry, if you are constantly worrying about the future, if you're constantly regretting your past, and even more importantly, you might have those thoughts for a long time. Are you listening to them? Are you paying attention to them? Are you focusing on those thoughts, or are you focusing on the thoughts that could make you a better person, that could make you achieve something that you will be proud of, that could make you a better spouse, better father, better entrepreneur, a better worker, whatever that's important to you? Start to focus on the things that make you a better person, and that starts with observing your thoughts. And I think that kind of summarizes. I'll do a quick summary as well. But anything else you want to add, Adam?
No, just the fact that be aware of your mental garden. Don't let any negative thought come into your mental garden that will take you away from your goal. Be 100% aware of, are you thinking negative or positive? Are you thinking yay or nay? Are you thinking can or can't? Are you thinking yes or no? Are you thinking do or don't? All right? Guard your mind like it's a lush, fertile ground. That's all I'm saying. Okay? People treat their cars better than they treat their mind. And it's your mind that invented the car. You freaking believe that?
Yeah.
Anyway, so my wish for everyone is to be more aware of your thoughts constantly. And I know it's like building a muscle. It's going to take time, but you can be aware of your thoughts daily.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm going to quickly summarize this. So the topic is that what we think about on a consistent basis and what we say to ourselves, that creates basically our life. What we think and say to ourselves shapes our intention towards life, shapes literally our whole life. Like Adam said, the car that you drive came from a thought, came from a consistent set of thoughts from one person. The technology that you have came from somebody. And if you show this smartphone to somebody from a few decades ago, and they're going to say that's impossible. If you could go back in time and do that, but somebody thought that was possible. Steve Jobs thought that was possible, and he created that possibility into something tangible. You can create the life that you want into something tangible if you believe that that's a possibility. But if you believe that it's not a possibility, you won't create that. Like Ford said, whether you think that you can or can't, you're right. Either way, you're right. Because if you believe that you can't do something, you're right. If you believe that you can, you're right. It all depends on you. Don't worry about what other people say. Don't worry about the collective thinking mentality, because it doesn't matter. Collectively, we all know human beings need to improve. So why listen to that collective BS? I was going to say something else, but I settled on BS.
No, that's fine. That's fine. And along the way, be prepared to lose some friends. Along the way, be prepared to take jabs. Along the way, be prepared to be finger pointed at. I mean, what's wrong with that? You're trying to do something that challenges someone else's opinion of themselves, not you. It goes back to what I said. We ultimately do or say what we think. So if someone's challenging your vision of a better life for yourself, that person is the one that's challenging their own vision and their own capacity to turn their life around, right? Not yours. He or she just does not know that what they're saying has something directly to relate it to them, not you. Anyway, so that's my ending thought.
But that's a cool point you made. Let's look at that from a different perspective. I want to quickly say that. because I don't say this to people enough or at all, but I love confusing the hell out of people, because most of what I do most people don't do in my environment. They're always confused and they're always asking me, why are you doing that, why are you doing this, and they're always frustrated at what I do. But not only does that challenge them to think different, but it's in a way I'm inspiring them to think different. And that's one of my big goals, big vision, is that I was sick and tired of everybody having the same freaking model for life. Go to school, get a job, get married, have some kids, and that's it. That's the end of your life. But that's not necessarily something that everybody wants. That doesn't even take into account human imagination, human capabilities, possibilities. All it does is a set of rules that you have to follow to create a life. And the funny thing is, when you create all those things, those people who told you that, when you go back to them, what now? They have no idea what to tell you, because after you create those things, that's when the actual challenge comes in. Because you're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I feel like I spent the first 40 years of my life listening to all these things that people told me to do, but I feel like I was kind of cheated. Now you go back to those people, well, I was told the same thing. So you basically
Mm-hmm.
listen to somebody who listened to somebody else without thinking, without using their mind. So the point here is that when you do things that make you a better version of yourself, that gives you better thoughts, it will challenge the people around you. It will challenge you. Be okay with that. You might get a lot of negative backlash, but it's okay. That means that you're progressing. Now, let's quickly summarize that. So, your thoughts create the intention for your life. So, pay attention to the thoughts that make you want to progress, that make you a better person, that make you want to grow. Don't pay attention to the thoughts that make you think that, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. You will have those thoughts. Even the greatest teachers will tell you that they still have some of those thoughts, but they don't listen to them. They don't focus on them. They focus on the things that make their life better. So what thoughts you focus on, that creates a better that will create your life. Now, do this more consistently. Observe your thoughts. Pay attention to the thoughts that are more positive. And the other thing was the practice that I gave you. Come up with 3 words that define your greatest version. 3 words that define who you want to be. It doesn't necessarily have to be who you are. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. You can live into those words. Those words have to be meaningful to you. For example, what I said was, my words are present, authentic, and bold. And set the intention for your day every day. That's something that I forgot to mention, but set an intention every day for how you want to live your life. Every day is a new day. Don't worry about what happened yesterday or the day before or last year. Set an intention. And repeat this. Observe your thoughts. Consistently repeat observing your thoughts. Pay attention to what makes your life better, to the positive thoughts. And what you'll notice that over time, slowly those negative thoughts, even though they might be there, but they won't have an effect on you. And this is what I've observed. Adam can probably tell you the same thing, that the past 4 years that I've consistently observed my thoughts, what I find that is sometimes the negative thoughts come back, but they don't have the power over me. The thoughts that
Mm-hmm.
have more power over me are the thoughts that I've chose to focus on. And those
Yes,
are the
a
thoughts that,
hundred percent.
yeah,
100%. It's like saying, hey, I have a rounded or kyphotic posture, and then through my whole life, and then through proper corrective exercising, strengthening your back, tucking your core in, lifting your glutes up. Now I've got this posture, but it takes time. It takes daily repetition. So just like you've got a what I call in your mental diet a negative thought or a negative vitamin, you need to replace that by a positive thought or a positive vitamin. You need to change that up. And that is like building any muscle in your body. You have to exercise it daily. Daily, that's it. It's not easy, but you know what? You'll be surprised within 30 days, 60 days, it's going to get much better. Within a week, it's just going to get much better.
yeah. And nothing we're saying here is easy. The ease is, like my mentor says, ease is not the goal. Growth is.
Mm-hmm.
Ease will not take you anywhere, but
Mm-hmm.
growth will. And
Yeah.
just to finish the point, I just want to say that none of this, don't be disheartened. Once you start becoming aware of your thoughts, it's going to be difficult. Why? I mean, so many of my clients, they try meditation, they try observing their thoughts. The first month or two, then they come back, they're like, it's so hard, I can't do this, it's not working. I'm like, okay, look at this from this perspective. You're 35, 40 years old. You've lived most of your life thinking a certain way. You just started thinking differently. You just started paying attention to your thoughts. You want that to change right away? It doesn't work like that. I'm not saying that it'll take 30, 40 years, but it will take a little bit of time. It's different for everyone. It might take a few months, a couple of years, but you have to stay consistent with it. It's working as long as you're consistent with it. All right, I think that is it. So I'm gonna finish this video by saying that if you wanna create a powerful life for yourself, if you want to create a powerful vision for your life, if you want to understand who you are, become aware of your thoughts more in a better way, if you want to raise your level of energy, your mental, physical, and emotional energy, if you want to become more productive in your life, to achieve the goals that you've set your mind on, if you want to become more courageous, if you want to deal with your fears in a better way, if you want to become more influential in your social circles, you want to become more persuasive, then I urge you to click on the link below that I've given, which is going to give you a 90-minute free strategy session with me. The only condition is that you fill out a 30-minute questionnaire, which will not only help you understand your life better, but it will help me understand how I can help you. And if you do that, and if you qualify based on my criteria, then I'll do a 90-minute strategy session just like this, one-on-one. So like I'm doing this with Adam training, we'll be doing a session like this, and your life will completely transform. But you're going to have to take action. And so the link is faisalensaun.com/p/coaching. I'm going to put it underneath. And you can also go to faisalensaun.com to see lots of blogs, training, free training that I put out there for you guys to learn more about yourself and about what you want to do. Adam?
Yes. If you want to become a better version of yourself, if you want to become a stronger version of yourself, not just in the gym, but outside the gym, in life, in personal, in professional, your attitude is key. Your mindset is key. And if you want to reach out to me, if I can help in any way, answer any question for you, lead you down the right way, train you, coach you, whatever it is that you need me to do to help you become the best version of yourself, write out to my website, ownyourfitness.net, ownyourfitness.net, and I will help you, coach you to get in touch with your inner warrior spirit. Yeah!
Thanks, Adam, for joining me here today. You guys have a great week until the next video. And post your comments and questions below. We're both going to answer it. Whether it's a tough question or not, we're going to try to help you out as much as we can. And if you have any suggestions for any future videos, feel free to suggest it below if you want us to talk about something. And until then, have a great day.